that has come out. This has come out from Forbes, and this again was sent to me by my source, and with the very interesting part at the end of it that said that they quoted on it saying, "Hey, is this does this person work for Langley or something? Is this person part of the CEO? Because this is clear propaganda. This is, in fact, what I was talking about with Putin's speech. This is the opposite side." Cool. All right, we're back up on YouTube. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. This is the opposite side now, coming in from the West, coming in from the US. So from Forbes, this is in Forbes. The title is, "With Moscow Distracted, Xi Jinping Could Turn China's Gaze to Russia." And it goes on about talking about, hey, look, when how Russia is now distracted over there, how their military might has pushed over to the western side. Now China could move up north and take over all that part of Russia that, it probably should anyway, and it needs these resources, and lays out all these reasons why China should be doing this. Now, the interesting thing is, I think China and Russia could potentially go to war. And if we look at the reasons why people go to war, it makes a lot of sense why they would. And it's mainly based around this, around China pushing into Russian territory and wanting some of their resources. It totally makes sense. It makes zero sense right now, though. Absolutely zero sense. If I had any sort of future-looking, crystal ball or anything, the way I would think this would go on is that Russia does their stuff out east. China and Russia work together to bring down US power, which they've already done, and they are in the midst of doing, because what Russia has done already is a massive slap in the face of the US. And if we look back historically, this is what happens to empires. They don't usually get beaten by someone and that's it. They get a hit and they get a hit and they get a hit. And the blood is in the water now, essentially. How the US responds now is going to dictate how things go for the next 50 years. But I think we can pretty much guarantee that the US will not be the supreme power and ruler like it has been for the past 50 years. And I'm not saying Russia will be. I'm saying Russia is the one that kicked them in the dick. And now everyone can see, like, whoa, they're not wearing iron underpants. Maybe we don't have to use US dollars anymore. Maybe we don't have to be pushed around by the US anymore. Some countries would say. Obviously, Australia's not getting pushed around by the US, although we are. So yeah, it's very much in US's interest to start sowing these seeds of discord, but you've already got Russia doing it. I mean, to be honest, Russia and China have been doing this to the US for years now. It's just that we haven't recognized it. And I've said this many times, warfare isn't tanks and guns, or it's not just tanks and guns anymore and guys on the ground. It is that. It totally is that. Plus a whole heap of stuff, including propaganda like this, including social media, including individual people within countries. Warfare is much larger than we think it is nowadays. And so we're not paying attention to this side of it. Russia, China have been sowing discord within the US for years in things like friggin' memes. They're pumping memes out into the internet and it's creating this sort of stuff. So they've been creating this division. US slow on the uptake on it, is just trying to start to do it, and is doing it in such a slow, clunky way. At this point, it's like I read this and I'm like, come on, guys. Up your propaganda game. Come on, you can do better than this. You can do better than this. Maybe they can't. I don't know. Although I did just see the latest Marine recruitment video. Whew! Yeehaw! I mean, it wasn't the best, but it even had me think, I'm like, maybe I should get back in, go join the Marines. Damn! It was basically the opposite of every other US military service that had been put out there, where they're going like, hey, inclusivity and let's do this. The Marine one was like, Modern Warfare 3, the real one. Marines, join us, let's do it. Drones and CGI and guns and yeah. It was something else. Anyway, enough about that. Go check it out yourself. Tell me what you think. Turkey is putting out footage of Greece building up military on the border. I didn't know this, actually. There's another one sent to me by my source. The title of this is, it was a tweet. Yunanistan army is making a military shipment to the Turkish border. And I looked at that and I'm like, what? Yunanistan? That's not a stan I've ever heard of. Turkey calls Greece Yunanistan. I had no idea. This is like total revelation for me. All right, I've got to get through these because I've got to get my dog to the vet, but let's ramp it up a little bit. But yeah, a lot of tension happening in this part of the world too. Like I said, very, very European focused today. Greece, Turkey, this is another flashpoint. We got to really, keep your eye on this one as well, because that could go up at any second. I've got to skip over that. I can't. Germany joins the others preparing for nuclear war. So, again, shout out to my source here, because this is another one they sent to me. Germany started dusting off their Cold War and nuclear fallout shelters and things like that. They're starting to look into, teaching their public and stuff and building these facilities or revamping these facilities in case of war coming into Germany. This is happening in a number of places now throughout Europe. So Germany's the latest one to start doing this. Peter Rouse says they've lowered the physical requirements for the US military across the board because they couldn't pass. Yes, Australian military as well, which I hate. It burns me to see that. I think it's disgusting that we should do that, because at the end of the day, war doesn't give a shit. War doesn't give a shit about what your standards are. War is war. It's the hardest physical reality that you can come up against as a human being, and it doesn't care if you can't do 20 push-ups. It cares what you can do, or it just says you have to do this, right? It doesn't actually say anything. It just is. Little bit of a warning sign here. This is coming from Ice Age Farmer. Nationwide shortage of antibiotic amoxicillin. Amoxicillin is a broad spectrum antibiotic. It's a pretty good one, if you're into antibiotics. And I'm not into antibiotics, but I know what their use is because I've used them a couple of times to kind of keep myself alive. So this is a bit of a warning sign for us. Have a look at where all our drugs come from. Pretty much the entirety of our drugs come from China and India, and mostly China too. So, or the constituent products of these. So the fact that we're not getting, or the US isn't getting amoxicillin, like this is a big warning sign. Canary in the coal mine. Watch that space, because that's going to be a big one. Yes, Peter S says I've stocked up on antibiotics for emergency use only, and I do recommend that people do this. It is something that is difficult to do though. In Australia, I've tried a number of different avenues to do it in the past. I mean, things like amoxicillin, doxycycline, what are the broad spectrum ones? There's a few other ones. I'm just blanking on them right now. But they're all prescription. So you need a doctor's prescription to get them in Australia. That's not saying that you can still do it. There are ways to do it, and especially one that I usually do is go into my doctor and say, "Hey, I'm traveling to this country, even if I'm not." And their medical systems aren't that good, and I'm going to be trekking and stuff, and I might need antibiotics. Can you prescribe me some? And I promise I won't use them willy nilly. And usually they're pretty good to do that. Peter Rouse says fish antibiotics are one also too. So especially amoxicillin, that is a fish antibiotic. You can go and buy it off the shelf in like aquarium places and stuff like that. So check that out if you want to go do it. There are ways to do it. Definitely. All right, I've got to roll because I'll probably have to go get some antibiotics for my dog in the vet. Stay safe, gang. Hope you're doing well. As always, if you've got any questions, send them through to me. Keep the comments coming. Love it. Let me know where you're watching from, how things are going too. That was the other thing. Everyone said, "Hey, I'm from here. Let me know what the situation is where you are in the world. What your vibe is, how things feel there, because I'd love to know. Until next time, though, everyone stay safe. I appreciate you all. Get out into the garden if you can. Get growing your food. And as always, Semper Paratus.